Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to introduce today's presentation on analyzing literary works. This is the first slide, so I just want to warmly welcome you all and set the stage for what's to come. We'll be exploring how to interpret and analyze different kinds of literature, looking at key techniques and insights. Over the next few slides, we'll cover the main methods and tools used in literary analysis, so you'll come away with a clearer understanding of how to approach texts critically. Let's get started. Let's take a moment to look at the contents of this section. We have 5 stories: The Rat Trap, Lost Spring, Indigo, Deep Water, and The Last Lesson. Each of these stories offers unique insights and lessons that tie into our overall theme of understanding human resilience, societal issues, and the importance of compassion. As we go through each story, keep in mind how they reflect on different aspects of life, whether it's kindness, struggle, or the pursuit of hope. These stories will help us see the bigger picture of human experience and the power of empathy. Let's explore some important themes that connect to our overall discussion on cultural identity and resilience. First, we have national pride, or patriotism, which often serves as a unifying force within a country. It's about feeling a deep connection to your homeland and wanting to preserve its values and traditions. Next, we consider the value of education, how it's not just about acquiring knowledge, but also about empowering individuals and strengthening communities. We then look at student and teacher attitudes towards learning and teaching. Positive attitudes can foster a love for learning, which is crucial in maintaining cultural identity, especially under challenging circumstances. Now, an especially painful aspect to consider is the damage inflicted on people by conquerors, taking away their right to study, speak their own language, or practice their traditions. This kind of suppression causes deep wounds and can threaten the very fabric of a community's identity. Language imposition is a big part of this. When a dominant group forces its language on others, loyalty to one's native language often becomes a form of resistance. This is beautifully captured in the story of The Last Lesson, which highlights how language and education are acts of cultural survival. Overall, these points remind us that language and education are powerful tools for preserving identity and resisting oppression, especially when they are under threat. Let's take a moment to reflect on the callousness of society and the political class when it comes to the suffering of the poor. This slide highlights a harsh reality: societal neglect. Despite the visible struggles, there's often a lack of action or genuine concern. We need to analyze the grinding poverty that traps so many children and the deep-rooted traditions that condemn them to a cycle of exploitation. These traditions, often seen as cultural, can perpetuate inequality and deny children their basic rights. I want to draw your attention to the lives of street children, an urgent, contemporary issue that demands our sensitivity. These children face daily hardships that many of us can hardly imagine, from malnutrition to abuse, and often, a lack of hope for the future. It's crucial that we become aware of their plight, not just as distant statistics, but as real human stories. This slide underscores the importance of understanding these interconnected issues, as part of our broader effort to address social injustice and advocate for meaningful change. Let's talk about a personal experience I had with fear, specifically the fear of deep water. It's a common fear many people face, and I want to share how I dealt with it. When I first encountered deep water, I felt a surge of anxiety and hesitation. It was overwhelming, and I knew I had to take deliberate steps to overcome that fear. The key was breaking down the process into manageable parts. I started by educating myself about water safety and gradually exposing myself to deeper water, always staying within my comfort zone. This incremental approach helped me build confidence. I also focused on breathing techniques and staying calm, which are crucial when facing fears in water. Over time, through patience and persistence, I learned to trust myself and my abilities. This journey of overcoming my fear of deep water is a clear example of how understanding fear psychologically, combined with practical steps, can lead to personal growth. It connects to our overall theme, showing that fear isn't just an obstacle, but something we can work through with awareness and effort. Let's talk about the human tendency to redeem oneself from dishonest ways. It's a powerful aspect of our nature, our capacity for redemption and change. Human redemption is about recognizing our mistakes and striving to make amends, which reflects an innate hope for betterment. However, there's also a common trap we often fall into: the lure of material benefit. Many people, knowingly or unknowingly, get caught in this trap, prioritizing worldly gains over moral integrity. This leads us to the idea of material temptations, those attractive but often deceptive pulls that threaten our true values. It's important to understand that these temptations can easily divert us from our path if we're not vigilant. Yet, despite these challenges, there's a hopeful belief that the essential goodness within each of us can be awakened through understanding and love. This is the core idea behind awakening of essential goodness, realizing that beneath all external distractions, our true nature is inherently good. And when faced with material temptations, this is where the concept of basic goodness in human beings becomes crucial. It reminds us that, at our core, we have the capacity to choose integrity and kindness over fleeting material gains. Connecting all these points, especially in the context of the rat trap, we see how human nature is complex, prone to mistakes, yet also capable of profound goodness and redemption when nurtured properly. This understanding is vital for navigating life's moral challenges. Effective leadership is truly powerful because it can resolve any kind of problem without causing harm to anyone. When we think about leadership, it's not just about giving orders, but about guiding others in a way that's constructive and peaceful. This idea ties into the contributions made by anonymous Indians to the freedom movement, which often go unrecognized but were incredibly vital. These silent, dedicated efforts helped build the foundation for independence. Now, a shining example of leadership in action is Mahatma Gandhi. His leadership was characterized by the ability to secure justice for oppressed people through convincing argumentation and negotiation. Instead of violence, Gandhi believed in dialogue and peaceful protest, which ultimately led to significant social change. You can see this leadership in his actions, helping peasants and marginalized groups to secure legal justice. Gandhi's portrayal as a leader isn't just about speeches. It's about real, tangible efforts to uplift others and fight injustice through nonviolent means. Finally, I want to highlight the story of Indigo. This is a perfect example of how leadership and collective effort can challenge powerful interests. It reminds us that even in the face of great odds, determined leadership can bring about change, reinforcing the overall theme that true leadership is about service, integrity, and perseverance.